Hey guys, welcome back to another Olympus discussion. Oh my goodness, it has been a while since I've talked about this because honestly, I've I've still kind of been reading Olympus, and to me it just gets worse. For like Persephone, it's just like, come on, give me something different for this girl, please. And with Minthe. Hopefully, I said her name right. I have no clue. Minthe has returned, and I get her character development has definitely risen in a lot of ways that presents itself as definitely a lot better than Persephone. And I actually love Minthe's character in Lore Olympus more so than Persephone. I know. But she's this, but she's evil, but she did this to Persephone, and she, was abusive to Hades. She's no good, blah, blah, blah. And then there's always an explanation behind Menthe's actions and, the character development there. And you show that, and then you compare it to Persephone. Persephone doesn't have much of anything to explain much of her actions or what she does with her spare time, who her friends are. And I know Eros and Artemis, but let's be real. Let's be real. Do they ever talk about anything else? Do they ever connect, or do they ever develop with their relationship? And I get it, Persephone and Artemis's relationship is hardly there. Some people are like, they're best friends, they're this, and it's just like, no, they have not developed in a while, and it's such a shame because there's so much we can do with with their character. Anyways, as for, we're going to be focusing on Minthe right now, and not so much of all the other characters, and comparing her character to Persephone. Now, this is something I definitely feel like a lot of people don't pay attention to with, Menthe's character compared to Persephone. Now, Persephone is seen as perfect, good, nice, and I fucking hate it. I'm not trying to say she's a bad character, a bad love interest or anything like that. I'm just saying the way that Persephone is portrayed in Lore Olympus just makes me annoyed because there's so much potential for her character, but there's a lack of development and the way her character is compared to, Menthe's character, who has expressed many emotions. And I know, people are gonna bring up, but Persephone's situation with Apollo, Persephone's situation with, murdering all those people, Persephone's situation with, I know, but it's just kind of weird that we have this, like, okay, so she's Miss Perfect, and if you exclude the part given by Eris of, being chaotic in that sort of sense, she's really nothing special. And again, I'm not trying to say that's a bad character, but what I'm trying to say is how we're supposed to get her to connect with the audience in that sort of sense. There's a lot of moments of vulnerability and, dynamics with Minthe, like, toxic friends, being manipulated by said friends, having to deal with the relationship going very fast, and feeling like you have to compete with another woman. And there's so much more to list, but her dynamic with being a character, it's just, I find her character to be fascinating because she doesn't have this perfect life. She doesn't have this, everything is handed to her, and it shows. She knows what she wants and she stands up for it, and compared to Persephone, she's just a better character in that kind of sense. she has an explanation for what she does and why she did it. You know, when she first met Hades and, having her outburst, he found that to be interesting, like, in that sort of sense, if that makes sense. Like, I gotta remember how that went exactly, and I know that's bad on me for not remembering every detail of the entire series, but you get what I mean. Menthe's character is a lot better developed than Persephone's character, and it shows. I feel like Rachel has a better, has a more intriguing style to write with Minthe, but with a, but with Persephone, it's kind of different because it's honestly, it, a lot of the time when we see Persephone, it goes back to her situation connected back to Apollo, or maybe her relationship with Hades. And it feels so forced in a lot of different ways that it just doesn't add up. And again, I'm not saying I hate the relationship between Hades and Persephone. Hell no, but there's gotta be some kind of dynamic and some kind of element to have the characters develop. Like, remember when she grew several feet tall and went after Kronos and took him down in just under 10 minutes? Yeah, remember that? Yeah. Yeah, that happened. That happened. And it wasn't Hades, it wasn't anyone else, it was Persephone, the youngest goddess, blah blah blah. It just doesn't make sense. And it's unfortunate because there's a lot of things people can do to make the characters a little, like, there's a lot of ways we can make Persephone, more intriguing as a character, but it just, whenever she shows up, it feels so forced into the scene. It feels not natural to me. Like, honestly, I know there's a few people out there as well who do not like Persephone's character. They do not care for Persephone's character in that kind of sense. And it's not to say she is a bad character, it's just the lack of, development, dynamics, and having her be presented. How she's presented in the comic, it just comes off as a Mary Sue. And I guess it makes it easier for some people to insert themselves into Persephone, I guess. But not really relatable, not really a character you can, understand. They just avoid some elements of her story. And yeah, she's always been held in by her mother in the same place as a young girl. And, being the face of a business and all that stuff, it shows, and it's just like, wow, there's not really much else there. And unfortunately, with that, we kind of have to go on to a different character, which I gotta say is Minthe. Minthe has she has a interesting background story. She, coming from somewhere that, isn't from the gods, where things are handed to them, it kind of feels like, with Persephone, everything has been handed to her. Like, in a sense, the favoritism between her and Hades, like, she's always been given an opportunity, despite Hades always saying, oh, well, I can't do that because you're just starting, but then he proceeds to do it, and it shows that he does have favoritism in the business, and it shows. Many moments, more so than not, it shows, and it's unfortunately a part of the things people want to look over because nobody wants to acknowledge, hey, yeah, she's basically more favoritized over than, other employees when she was working there, or she was more favored than Minthe. And I know Hades tried his best to make things work with Minthe, and, she screwed that up by what happened with her friend being a toxic asshole, and it just didn't go well. And again, ever since her recent appearance, Minthe's recent appearance in season 3, I think there is a good fair chance we may see a lot of development done for Minthe and see where her life leads her. And I do hope we get to see more of her and her development as a character more so than how it was handled recently. It's definitely something I want to see more of instead of Persephone. And again, I'm not saying Persephone is bad. She just lacks a lot of character, like, character development and dynamics with people. It kind of makes her feel boring and flat. And I get it. People love her, and again, I'm not trying to shame anyone for loving her. I'm just trying to say that Minthe is a lot better written than Persephone. But yeah, my full thoughts are generally that over the past 3 seasons, Minthe has better character development and becoming more than just, the jealous ex-girlfriend of Hades, and instead becoming a character that can stand on her own. And it's shown, aside from her, helping and sabotaging Persephone's relationship with Hades, aside from that, there are moments where she has made, some clear points. And in the recent reintroduction of her character, she has, more character development following, and I cannot wait to see what happens. Anyways, guys, I will see you all in the next video. I know this was a short one, and I'm trying my best to, make these videos every time I can. And yeah, I really hope those who are watching and who are new here, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. Anyways, guys, I will see you all in the next Webtoon discussion. This has been Dazzling Kate. Stay safe, stay cool, and stay hydrated. This is Dazzling Kate, signing the hell out of here.